So welcome to the Leadership Exchange, a place where leaders are willing to share and hungry to learn. My name is Maggie Rose, and today I am joined by Phil Amy, the outgoing commercial director from TalkTalk, a significant disruptor in the telco market in the UK. Outgoing because tomorrow he's going to be joining Which as the commercial director there. Which, for those of you that don't know, is a long-standing UK brand established in 1957 who promotes informed customer choice. Phil, welcome.
Hello, Maggie, and thank you for that kind introduction.
It's a great pleasure. It's quite a time to be changing jobs in the current environment. How are you feeling about it?
I think I was nervous to begin with, actually, and actually as time's gone on, I've been able to embrace it really, and I think the virtual joining it may be something of the future, because I've been able to put a name to many faces at Which already, and I've also been able to manage my diary and work-life balance quite well in the transition as well. So it hasn't, and really I've built up quite a big bit of excitement for tomorrow and Monday in joining Which, and the virtual way of joining I think has worked for me so far.
It's certainly a new way of life for us all.
Yeah, definitely.
So today's an opportunity to reflect on recent times, also to look forward in terms of what this has meant for your leadership. You know, a conversation that with our clients worldwide, we're privileged to hear reflections and what that means to individuals' leaderships day in, day out. And this is an opportunity to share that with other leaders, their benefit too. So let's just start by thinking about current times. I mean, clearly a huge amount of disruption, a huge amount of cost to people's lives. You know, that should not be underestimated. But where I'd like to go with this is to think about actually what are the gifts from this time, and what is it that you have personally, professionally really sort of realized or reclaimed, as it were, through this time?
I think there's a couple of things really, but first of all, as a leader, I always thought myself as someone that knew the people that worked for me and knew what people wanted and what motivated them. But I think what I've found during this time is who people really are. And in some regards, it's learning more about those people, or the people that have worked for me, my direct reports and others, which has been the real gift. And part of that gift has been around the real honesty of communication and openness that's come out during this period. And I think creating that culture of openness has helped, especially at TalkTalk, us manage through quite a difficult period. I know more about my people now, you know, how they live their lives, you know, and I think that's so important to us. And sometimes I think as leaders, we look at people's lives from the 9 till 5 or the 8 till 6 that are working for us. But ultimately understanding what motivates them outside of those hours, when in this world it's all been mixed together with homeschooling or caring or being, you know, your spouse being a pharmacist or a key worker, really understanding the pressures that people do have at home. I think this time has brought that out. And as a leader, we need to kind of take that on and understand, moving forward with that information, how would we really motivate people going forward?
We're often asked about how you empower people, how you have great performance conversations, how you give them feedback. But, you know, in all the conversations that we have with leaders, it's fundamentally about really talking to people about their lives. You know,
exactly.
Want who they really are, what they want from their life, not just in this role, not just in this organization, but what they want for their lives. And if as a leader you can really connect with that and then bring that to life every day in your conversations to fulfill their ambitions, it's powerful.
So powerful, yeah. I totally agree. And I think productivity in a strange way will increase on the back of that, by By understanding that, I think we as leaders will get more productivity out of our people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a shame when performance conversations or, career reviews in any way, shape or form are limited to this job, this moment, now, your objectives. We're dealing with people's lives at work, and as leaders, we need to pay attention to. It's so wonderful to hear how that gift is coming to life for you. And at the same time, of course, there's costs, there's loss at this time. What do you think in this way of working, clearly, through this crisis, what have we lost? What's missing in the conversation at the moment that we need to be aware of in moving forward? I don't mean about just going back to how things were, but what's sort of in the periphery or out of our awareness at the moment that we really need to tune into?
Well, I think, and I used the analogy of the film Groundhog Day, but I think we've got to take people out of looking at their hedge or looking at their picture behind them or whatever they're seeing every day, because in an everyday world, that isn't what happens. You see different people, you see different environments, and I think the biggest thing we're losing at the moment is encouraging the brain to think about different things, and that manifests itself into creativity. Really, are we losing a bit of creativity? And what I see in the meetings that I've seen is that meetings in this virtual sense, originally just to get through the crisis that we're in, are still very process orientated. And I think our biggest my biggest concern as a leader is that we have to work a lot harder in this time to think about how we can be more creative, not just in meetings, but with our people's brains. How do we get them to think about different things? Because they're not seeing different things. The news is the same. Luckily the weather's been the same. Actually, it's been sunny, but it's kind of, that isn't, when you go to work, you see different people. When you go into the office, you have different conversations. It's very hard to have those conversations in this virtual kind of space. So, and I don't think that's about creating more quizzes or more fun things to do. It's about really trying in those meetings to get those ideas that come out of that face-to-face conversation. And I think it's too easy I think we really need to think. An introvert as a leader can easily turn their camera off and not participate. And I can see a lot of that in meetings today. And even extroverts and those in that side of the kind of psychological sphere are kind of struggling to come out as much as they might do because of the interruption of a voice on a video call. So really trying to think about who the people are on the call and how we bring out that creativity, I think is really important. I mean, I as a people person, are struggling with the virtual side of things, because I get energy from seeing people smile, or the tone of the voice, and that power of that, and you don't get that at the moment. So really thinking about those things, I think, is important for us as leaders going forward.
It's interesting, isn't it, about creativity and this medium, actually, because it can become a bit transactional, just working on screen. And I've heard many leaders say, I'm just zoomed out, as brilliant as Zoom is as a platform, it's just like, actually it's become quite transactional.
Yeah.
And some of that interaction, that spontaneity, that water cooler conversation or coffee machine conversation, that informality of just chewing things over, that has been lost at this time. And I'm wondering, Phil, what are